Hi, Rosa. How good to see you again. What can I do for you today?
I'm feeling really frustrated. I really want to quit smoking. It's the most important thing that I have to do this. But I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything and nothing is working. And I came in here to talk to you about using the e-cigarette because my sister used it and she quit right away. She's still using the e-cigarette but has not touched a cigarette ever since. And she's also tried everything and this seems to work. So I'd like to give it a shot, but I just kind of wanted to know what your opinion was. You know, I like to do what you tell me. I really have a lot of respect for you, but you know, we haven't really talked about this as an option, and so I kind of wanted to see what you thought about it.
So, what is your knowledge about the device that she's using and what's worked for her? And have you had a chance to try it, or what have you done with it?
So I haven't tried it yet, but I've kind of been doing a little bit of searching on my own and by talking to her. And I know that it's not a combustible product, right? So it's pretty safe. It's safer than cigarettes because I know my dad had COPD, and that was the one thing his doctor told him was, you know, no combustion. So I would imagine it's safer than smoking. And I see everybody on the streets using it. So people must use it because it's working.
Okay, so you've seen other people have benefit from it. You're wondering whether this might work for you as well. And clearly you want to avoid the exposure to smoke, which is causing most of the harm.
Yeah.
So could I add some information so that you can make a better decision and I can make a better recommendation?
Sure.
So the first issue is that as it stands now, e-cigarettes, if they contain nicotine, technically they are not legal. The second piece is that regulation. There's no manufacturing standard of either the product or the liquid that says, yes, you know, somebody has looked at it and said, yes, this is made to a certain standard. They're not approved by Health Canada in any meaningful way, especially if they contain nicotine. And if they don't contain nicotine, there's no sort of manufacturing standard as to what they deliver to you. And some of them might be delivering things that you may or may not want to expose yourself to, you know, things that can cause harm to your lungs. And because of the lack of those standards, there are some, you know, it's the Wild West in many ways, because we don't know if a particular device is made the same way by the same company, you know, at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. We don't know if the liquid that is being made is made under any kind of sterile circumstances or standards, so that what you're getting or you're told either has or doesn't have nicotine, has or doesn't have the same amount of nicotine 6 months later or the next batch.
Okay.
So just that's the lay of how the land of the way it goes right now. However, having said that, when you take a look at the studies that were done with the e-cigarettes that look like cigarettes, there's a small effect that they might help some people, you know, quit, and it's probably similar to what nicotine replacement does. None of those products are currently on the market or available. So what we have are these other products. Okay, so those are with that caveat in mind, I have to be absolutely clear with you is that as a physician, I can't recommend it as an approved treatment.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I understand where you're coming from and what your intention is behind this. So having said that, how do you make a decision around these products? What we do know is that if somebody is going to use an electronic device, they should use one that can deliver nicotine. And these are often called second generation or third generation devices. They don't actually look like
those big clunky ones.
The big clunky ones, exactly. So they of course can deliver nicotine. So that's one thing. The other thing is to get a device that is at least has some standards. Now they're beginning, you know, companies are beginning to offer their own testing results at least, and say what the device gives off, whether the battery is safe, what temperatures it goes up to, you know, how do you make sure that it meets some sort of standard, as well as the liquid meets some sort of standard. And then is there a plan for how you're going to handle the flavors? Because we have more information now about the flavors causing harm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the liquid should not contain a product called diacetyl, you know, popularly known as a butter flavor, because that is known to cause harm to the lungs.
Okay.
right? You should ask, what else is put in? What other flavoring? And is it a contaminant, or is they actually deliberately putting it into it? Secondly, cinnamon flavors are also beginning to emerge, and maybe cherry flavors as well. So try to avoid as much these additional flavors is probably the safer way to go. We don't know for sure, but at least we do know which ones are definitely potentially harmful.
Okay.
So based on all the information I've given you, yes, on the one hand, there may be a benefit that you stop smoking, and definitely your exposure to toxicants that come from cigarette will be eliminated. On the other hand, these are some of the things to consider with respect to the device and with respect to the liquid.
Okay. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of information, and I mean, I guess I was kind of hoping that you would say that they're definitely safer and that they work all the time. If I decide to use it, would it be okay to still come in and see you? And I'm just, a bit concerned about some of the things that you said, and it would help for me to check in with you.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to see you. We've done your lung function test, so we know where that is. And we know what your carbon monoxide level is, which you've blown into the machine. So I know where you're at baseline. Clearly, if you have any symptoms of using this, especially because the propylene glycol dries the mucosal system, so that means the linings of your nose, the linings of your mouth. So it's very important to make sure you stay well hydrated.
Okay.
As you're doing this, and be aware that this might replace cigarettes, but you might have, we don't know, you might have difficulty stopping it down the line. So so I can see your dilemma, cigarettes versus something that potentially is safer, but as long as you're making this as an informed choice, then I'm more than happy to see you and monitor you and see how this goes for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I'll check in maybe in a couple of weeks if that's okay.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be nice to know. Okay.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.